It's time to show off the iPhone 12 Pro.
And I'm going to bring back a classic I haven't seen in years and I've been dying to play.
Before we round things out with snapping photos in the best camera app there is.
Snapping photos. It's time for iOS
Today.
iOS Today comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. Now, you're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by Privacy.com. Privacy lets you make purchases online using virtual cards instead of real ones, protecting your identity and bank information on the internet. New customers get $5 to spend on their first purchase. Go to privacy.com/iOS to sign up now. And by Peak Design. Peak Design has just launched their 10th campaign on Kickstarter. It's Mobile by Peak Design, an ecosystem of cases, mounts, and accessories that make your phone a better tool for everything you do, including the new iPhone 12. To learn more, go to peakdesign.com/twit. And by LastPass. LastPass can help you manage identities and promote good security behaviors while your employees are remote. Visit lastpass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. Hello, Mikah Sargent.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
It's good to see you and your brand new set. You've kind of tidied the place up. You put in a lamp, you put in a clock, and you put in the faces of Scranton.
Yes, it is a celebration of the office, a celebration of cleanliness, and a celebration of work from home. Even though I don't want to celebrate that, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Do you wish you could come into the studio?
Sometimes.
Not all the time. It's okay. You can be honest.
Yeah. There are days where it's nice to walk from, the bedroom to the office and get rolling. And there are days where I do miss, the commute and that sort of get up and go for the day kind of feeling. It's a back and forth kind of thing. But I certainly am happy to be doing the safer thing for sure.
I feel somewhat privileged to be able to come in here. I'm the only one who, John and I and Burke are the only ones who come in on a regular basis. Sometimes the editors will come in, but we want to keep the number of people in the office to a minimum. And I think if I had to do it at home, I think I might kind of become mind numbing. At least I have something that's breaking up the day a little bit.
Yes, and that's kind of the big thing. I used to work from home as a regular job,
right.
And it did get to be a little bit mind-numbing after a while where it's like, oh, what day is it?
Yeah.
It helps to have podcasts because podcasts happen on a specific day. And
right.
So you could know the day because of that. But
I literally go to bed and think, okay, tomorrow, what day is it? And is it Saturday? Is it Tuesday? I think I have to go to work tomorrow. And before I go to sleep, I have to know what's next.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's you're right. It's the only thing. And that plus Taco Tuesday. But between the two of them, that's about the only way I know what time. I'm sure we're kind of in the same boat. At least we're lucky enough to be working. I do.
Absolutely.
It breaks my heart how many people who are struggling a little bit out of work. Trying to find work. My kids, I'm lucky. Abby works at a grocery store. She's an essential worker. And Henry, who is kind of underemployed, he got out of college just a couple of years ago and is still, trying to find a career, a job. He's become a proficient drone pilot.
Oh. Yeah.
In fact, go to his Instagram. It's pretty cool. It's Hank Laporte, HankLaporte. And he's starting to put up some of his drone work. But he's like, okay, he's got a job this week. It's not, it's like it's a contract thing. He's doing a drone shot of the Safeway. Safeway needed, aerial shots of a Safeway store. And I said, that's going to be challenging to make that look pretty. you know?
Yeah, because there's going to be a flat roof,
Yeah,
right?
so I said, do it at sunrise or sunset. He says, oh, no, I got it. I can make it pretty. There's one on his Instagram of a night harvest at a winery. He had a really great contract where he's shooting the winery, and it's really quite beautiful.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so I'm proud of him. I think he's, but it's hard. You know, there's work, but it's not consistent. So anyway, for those of you who are home enjoying the show because you're not working,
hello.
Hang in there. It's gonna get better. It really is. Just don't know when.
It sounds more like we're saying it has to get better, right?
Yeah, can't get any worse. Well, actually, could. Knock on wood.
Yeah, let's knock on wood.
Not say that. Not say it could get worse. Yes, it did. Sure could. So today we are going to celebrate something that most of us can't afford. A brand new iPhone is here now. As you know, Apple announced the iPhones last week, and they are only shipping the middle two sizes. The iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12
the
Pro.
baby bear sizes.
Yeah, the baby bear sizes. The Mini and the Maxi will come out pre-order November 6th, and then deliver a week after that. I'm holding out for the Maxi. I think that's the one I want. I bet you want it too. So we said, go ahead and get that one, and if you decide it's not enough for you, we can get the Max for you instead.
Yeah, because it's interesting going from the larger size with the 11 Pro.
Is this a little smaller than that?
Yeah, so here's kind of a comparison head on.
It's not much, but slightly smaller. Yeah.
And it's interesting because the 12 Pro. If you compare the 12 Pro to the 11 Pro, you're getting a lot more screen. The 11 Pro was 5.8 inches. The 12 Pro now is 6.1 inch screen. Okay. So there's you're working with some more screen here. But for me, going from that larger to now the smaller, it's different. But I have to say that I do like how easy it is to grasp this phone, to hold this phone. And it's I've been kind of trying to feel it out if it's because of the new design, which we'll talk about, or if it is because of the fact that it's smaller that plays the larger role in me liking this size.
Well, that is the first thing you see when you look at it. And in every respect, it kind of looks like an iPhone 11, except for the edges, which are squared off. iPhone 4 style, iPhone 5 style, right? The old style.
Yes, it is. What do they call it? The candy bar style. It is a return to form. It is like the iPad Pro in its round, or not rounded, but rather its flat edges. This is the 12 Pro, so it's got the stainless steel band, so you can kind of see that shine.
It's pretty, yeah. Yeah,
it is very pretty. And this Pacific blue, I quite like. It's not green, which is heartbreaking, but being blue, it is a very pretty blue. And the glasses, this is glass on the back. They have to continue to do glass on the back because of the wireless charging, stainless steel, surgical steel, as they say, band. And this interesting little... let's see if we can show that there.
There's a window there. Yeah.
Oops. You've got a home button. The sleep wake button. And then, there's a little tiny window there that is for the 5G antenna.
It's actually for the 5G millimeter wave antenna, which most of you will never use. So go ahead and just paint that over. It's okay.
Yeah.
It isn't. It does not appear on the international versions of the iPhone, just the US versions. Now, I call it the Verizon hole.
Oh, I like that.
That's who it's for.
Yeah, Verizon sort of featured quite large at the Apple event and continued to feature in this phone. What's interesting, though, Leo, I was kind of curious. So because I was thinking about trading this out for the 12 Pro Max, I knew that I wanted to not use my, main phone number, my main phone, my main carrier, which is AT&T, with this iPhone.
Oh, so you thought it would just
make a trade?
Because how long do you have to return it? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes.
Okay.
And so because of that, I took my Mint Mobile SIM that I normally keep in my iPad.
Smart man.
And I put it into my iPhone 12 Pro.
Did it work?
it's got 5G.
Oh,
Mint Mobile 5G via T-Mobile and Sprint, right?
damn you, Mikah Sargent.
I know. I was really excited, and I want to show you. So I'll switch here. Let's see if I can.
It's funny because I have a Verizon phone. This is the Samsung Galaxy Fold. And it is a 5G Verizon phone, but Verizon doesn't have 5G around here. So you've got 5G.
Yeah,
it's the low band 5G, the 600 sub 600.
The normal 5G.
Does it seem faster to you?
So I will say, and let me show you here. So if you. For folks who are wondering, how do I know that I have 5G? Launch your settings app with the new iPhone. Tap on cellular data options, and you've got three things in here.
So does it say
roaming,
5G on the top at the top there? You have to look and see.
No, because
interesting.
And that's because I'm plugged in right now. If I took this out and it wasn't connected to the dock connector, you'd be able to see.
It would say at the top, it would say 5G.
5G, exactly.
Okay, good.
So when I tap on voice and data, you can see there are different options here. 5G on, 5G auto, and LTE. 5G on tells the iPhone, I want to always use 5G no matter what. But 5G auto says only use 5G if it doesn't significantly reduce battery life, meaning you're closer to those 5G towers.
Never. Yeah, okay.
And then data mode, where there's allow more data on 5G, standard, and low data mode. So, of course, with allow more data on 5G, it tells the phone, hey, when I'm streaming video or when I'm using FaceTime, please use the 5G cellular network. Otherwise, go ahead and use LTE or 5GE, as some companies are wont to call it.
Someday when it doesn't matter, I want you just to turn on always on 5G just to see how that impacts your battery life.
And we'll have to talk about that in the news section, because there have been some tests of that, and it has quite the impact. So here's what I'll say. I wanted to go out and take some photos in the night with this iPhone because, we'll get to the camera too in a minute, but I knew that it had better night performance in general, but night mode abilities. And so I did go out into the world to take some photos.
Shocking.
And I know, right? And masked up the whole time. You got to say all those things.
I hope you
wore
the John Oliver spacesuit on your way out the door.
But while I was out there, it was connected to 5G.
Okay.
The 5G that's in the area.
Okay. I want to know, did you do a speed test?
I should have done a speed test, and I didn't think about it in the moment. I know. And I feel I'm sorry about that. I didn't do a speed test. But what I will say is I was checking my phone for app updates.
Yeah.
And anecdotally, I saw the app updates. I tapped the update button, and just speaking from how long updates take on cellular normally to how long they take now, it was a little faster, but it wasn't much faster.
It's like my car is a little faster once I get a car wash. It doesn't. Right? I don't know. That's anecdotal. You could do it right now. Turn off Wi-Fi.
All right, I will turn off.
First, do you still get 5G at home?
I'll go into the settings and I'll make sure that we've got it set up so that 5G is always on.
Always on, because you can plug it in if you have to.
And then I will turn off Wi-Fi so that we're
this
just
is so exciting, folks. We're doing this in the real world.
And then I will open my Ookla speed test app, and it's going to see what the server is that I'm connected. And it shows Wi-Fi in the top right, but I promise you I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. You can see at the bottom it says Ultra/Mint Mobile 5G. Excuse me.
And because you're going, Mint Mobile is an MVNO. It's a sponsor, I should mention. An MVNO for T-Mobile. You see it says T-Mobile right there. Now, there is one question mark. Sometimes with an MVNO, you don't get all the speed a tower offers. They're going to prioritize the full pay customers versus the low pay customers. My experience with Mint Mobile is that at least here in the area, it hasn't had that problem. So we we can't guarantee we're getting the full T-Mobile speed, but let's just go ahead and press that go button. And
I want to make this clear because I know we'll get email.
Yes.
Very clear here. My iPhone is currently plugged in, and it is using the ability to stream what's on screen to the through Ecamm Live.
So that
Apple
might be
has
hitting
set
it
up
a little bit too.
Well, no. So Apple has it set up that when you are streaming the screen, they want the phone to look the best that it possibly can.
Yeah.
So they basically they pause the status bar. So you'll see that the cellular bars are full, the Wi-Fi looks like it's on, and the battery is full.
That's not the case.
And the time says 9:41. Folks, look behind me. The time is 9:47.
So for 6 minutes now, it's been stalled.
Yes, and it will stay like that no matter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so no matter what time it is, it says 9:41. That's Apple's.
That's when you plugged
thing.
it in. Oh,
yeah. No. That's not when I plugged it in. Apple does 9:41. I don't know why that's their time, but that's the time they always.
Oh, you're
do.
kidding.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. In fact,
even tonight it'll be 9:41. Even
9:41 always.
Oh, I had no idea.
In their marketing, the clock, the Apple Watch, will be set to 9:41.
I think anecdotally, that's when Steve Jobs first announced the iPhone.
It may be, and also might be because 10:41 is the time that traditional watches are set to, if I remember correctly, in marketing.
Yeah, but that's because they have hands, right? And you want to have the hands look good.
I think Apple did a whole thing with the Apple Watch when they first announced it, where it was like, we're coming an hour before because it's the future kind of thing. Anyway, regardless, I don't want anyone to think it's actually connected to Wi-Fi. It is not, I promise you. I'll show you. I'll swipe down from Control Center. Wi-Fi is currently turned off. That's why it's white instead of blue. And now I'll swipe back up, and here we go. So I am Ultra Mint Mobile down here at the bottom. It is connecting to the T-Mobile servers in San Francisco. And here is the speed test. We begin now.
Yeah, when Steve Jobs announced the iPhone, and I was there in the audience, it was so exciting because we thought he was going to. In San Francisco there in 2007, it was 9:41 a.m. when he said, this is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years. He started the introduction, the 3 revolutionary products, the widescreen iPod, the revolutionary new mobile phone. And are you getting it? Are you getting it? The internet community. Are you getting it? So I think that's why they still do 9:41. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not great. I've seen folks who've gotten a lot better.
This is the problem with doing what we just did. It's completely, your mileage may vary. Depends on how close he is to the tower, who else is on the tower.
And in fact, I'll do.
It wasn't that good. I got to say, it was 20, what is it, 26 down and 21 down.
26 up, 21 down, yeah. And I'll do it with my iPhone now on AT&T normal 4G LTE.
See, this is kind of the point is, there's never a case where all things being equal is true. It's not that way. It's just whatever you get at the time. I have to say, I'm still skeptical about the value of 5G. It won't be for a while until, if at all, we see a benefit for 5G. We're in a somewhat rural area. We're not in a big city. I think you'd probably get faster speeds if you were in San Francisco. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Slow down. Whoa. It's twice as fast on AT&T 4G LTE.
Yep.
48 download. The upload's not as good, though. That's interesting.
No. And I would be interested to see, because as we talked about, it's an MVNO with Mint Mobile. I would be interested to see, once I have 5G AT&T, if I do get faster speeds that way.
Well, I have my iPhone 12 Pro Max, if I ever get one, will be on T-Mobile's network. But I also have, as I pointed out, a Verizon SIM. So I might wander around, try different things. But again, this is what we're going to get in our area. It's not necessarily what you're going to get. If you're living on Race Street and 14th Avenue in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, you're going to get great speeds because you're going to get millimeter waves, and that little window will be active. I wouldn't buy this phone or any phone to get 5G unless you know you're in that area, right?
That is what I will say today, tomorrow, and the day after that is if you're buying a phone right now for 5G, I think you're making a mistake. And in fact, as it stands, I think buying the new iPhone, if it is not about getting the best possible camera system, which you may not need, And if it's not about just because you can and you want the latest design and look, I don't know that there's a whole lot of a reason to get the latest. If basically what I think is, if there's any hesitance or there's any struggle that would be involved in getting this latest phone, I don't think it's worth doing, because it doesn't provide enough of a change to warrant that, especially how much Apple is pushing the 5G as kind of the big sell for this device.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing to note is that Apple has done a whole new type of front screen glass. This is what they call ceramic shield. Basically, they've put ceramic molecules into the glass on the front of the iPhone.
That means we can drop the phone. Go ahead and just drop it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Here.
No.
I caught it because I can't do that.
No. It hurt my butt hurt when I saw, who was it? It was Engadget. Somebody took a dozen of them and dropped them, and it was like, ooh.
A dozen?
They took a bunch of them, and
see that bugs me. That bugs me for
they still crack.
That's an aside.
They still break.
They do crack. They still scratch. What's interesting, though, is that Apple, I didn't know this part. I knew that they were using this new ceramic shield that's got ceramic molecules, but they also are using what they learned with the Apple Watch front-facing glass, not the more fancy schmancy expensive ones, but the sport models.
Right.
And I don't think they call them sport anymore, but the standard models, the aluminum ones that have the Ion X glass. And they've also incorporated that into the front-facing glass. So Ion X glass makes it so that it's more scratch resistant, and the ceramic makes it so that it is better in dropping. It's
but don't drop
it.
But don't drop it. Here's a picture. This is from Engadget.
Drop it on purpose.
There's 6 of them, and as you can see, it still breaks. Believe me.
With that, yeah, I think that. The big thing is that it is going to be more drop resistant. So it's not, okay, now we can suddenly throw our phones around.
Right.
It's just that you will probably not have to replace your phone on that first drop, hopefully.
Right.
Regardless of, never is it an invitation to start throwing your phone around, but
please,
given that people have these accidents, drop their phones, this is a possibility that, on that first drop or that second drop, you may not have to spend the money to replace it. And I think that that's good.
We have a wonderful sponsor for you this week. One of my favorite sponsors, Privacy.com. Let me talk a little bit about Privacy.com. I've been using them, now must be a couple of years. It's a credit card that's safe to use on the internet. That's what Privacy.com is all about. You don't use the same password when you go different sites. You shouldn't. I hope you don't. You shouldn't use the same credit card when you go to different sites either. Privacy.com gives you a brand new virtual Visa or MasterCard for every purchase you make online. And I started using Privacy.com because a couple of times I'd used my credit card on a website, and then weirdly the number was stolen and people were doing charges. And I felt like, I've always been the one who said, it's okay, be safe to go online and do online shopping. But I thought, look, I'm going to take an extra step here. I'm going to use virtual cards. Privacy lets you take control in a couple of different ways with their privacy cards. First of all, you can have it be a one-time only burner number. So if you're at a site and you're going to buy something and you don't really trust them, you just say, look, this is a burner card. It's a setting right there in Privacy.com. By the way, they have a plug-in for all the browsers, an extension. So that's really easy. You can also do it through a website. There's also an app. So it's very, very easy to generate a new card. I use the browser plug-in generally because I'm on a site and I get a little privacy icon on the credit card. Press that, it generates a new card for me with a new expiration date 5 years from today. So you get 5 years, a new security number, 3-digit or 4-digit security number. And so when I'm on a site, I can say, when I generate that card, this is only one-time use, or I can say, lock this to the merchant. That's what I mostly do. I say, look, this only can be used by that merchant. You can also set a limit. You can say per charge, per year, per month. It can only be used to charge. So this is great for subscriptions, for instance. You know that every month or every year you're going to get charged a certain amount for a subscription. You set it to that amount. It's locked into that subscription. And if at any time you want to cancel the subscription, sometimes people make it hard to do that. Privacy, you just pause the credit card. It's easy to pause any credit card, even delete any credit card. Plus, you'll get a complete list of all transactions and, most importantly, all declines. So if somebody stole that credit card, if you went to a site and you used a credit card, they stole it, they tried to use it somewhere else, it won't work, it'll be declined, and you'll see it. So you'll know immediately if that credit card has been leaked out. I think this is so great. You don't have to worry about canceling subscriptions or free trials ever again. You can control all your recurring payments. You'll never be billed twice, accidentally, or upgraded without your consent because you see everything that's going on. And I use it to share cards too. For instance, I like to buy my mom dinner, as I've mentioned before. So I give her a credit card just to use with DoorDash or just to use with Uber Eats, and that it's locked to that merchant. She can't use it anywhere else. Not that I don't trust my mom, but it's great. And I see all the transactions. It's really great. And the card sharing feature means I don't have to copy and paste the number and, insecurely text it to her. You just click the share button when you're viewing a card. You enter her email address. You can enter my mom's email address if you want, or whoever. And it'll share too. Privacy handles the rest. PCI DSS compliant, same security standards as your bank. Feel safe about making purchases anywhere online. Sensitive information is secured. Not only is it secured using military-grade encryption, but it's using split key encryption, so no one employee has the whole key. It's spread among multiple employees. It takes multiple keys to decrypt. And of course, privacy is all about privacy. They never sell your data. Your information is safe with them. The way privacy works, and I should probably let you know, is it connects to your U.S. checking account or debit card. It's in effect a debit card. Okay? It's not a charge card. You can't run a balance. It's going to take it right out of your account immediately. That's fine with me. And you even have a setting where there's a privacy setting so that in your checking account statement, it just says privacy.com. I use the other setting where it says in the checking account exactly who it was to. So I don't have to look at two different registers to figure out who those charges were for. It says it right there in my checking account. There are a couple of different plans. I started with a free personal plan. That's for most people plenty. 12 cards a month. Same benefits. You can have it secure, merchant locked, or single use. Then there are two paid versions. There's Pro and Teams. I did Pro because you get 1% cash back. And I use it enough so it easily pays, I can't remember what it was, $10 a month? I can't remember. But the amount of money for the Pro subscription and then some. So I always make money every month in the 1% cash back. You also get additional cards, additional security features. And the Teams, if you have a company and you want to assign cards to everybody in the Teams, has even more features. And that 1% cash back pretty much pays, I can't imagine it wouldn't pay for it. They also just launched a card issuing API that was built specifically for developers who are looking to create cards at scale. If you had a small business, you wanted to create cards at scale, check it out. Look at the different plans. You can decide on the one you want. The free tier is probably the best way to try it for free. But I am, as soon as they announced the Pro thing, I subscribed, and it has made me money every single month. I like that. Privacy, Privacy, privacy.com/iOS. Sign up for an account, and as kind of a little way to get you to use that special address so that they know you saw it here, we're going to give you $5 on your first purchase for a limited time only. So that's new customers get $5 to spend. Free money, basically, when you go to privacy.com/iOS and you sign up now. I think privacy.com is the greatest thing ever. I am sold, and I use it all the time. Privacy.com/iOS. And now on with the show. Mikah Sargent, completely clear, free, and ready to run.
Ready to rock, ready to roll.
Yay. So I thought we'd take a little break in between our review of the iPhone 12 Pro. That's what Micah's rocking, the blue one.
The blue one, the Pacific Blue, baby.
Pacific Blue. We were talking about 5G. We got that out of the way.
We talked about the screen. We got that out of the way.
Okay.
I think it's time to talk about the camera.
This is the feature, really. The main reason I'm going to buy it, because I'm very happy with my iPhone 11 Pro Max, but the main reason I'm going to buy it is I think the new features, especially in the Pro Max, are going to be interesting. Now, you have the Pro, so you have the three cameras.
Three cameras and the LiDAR.
And the LiDAR, but you don't have The one thing that the Pro Max has that no other iPhone 12 has is a bigger sensor and optical image stabilization inside the sensor shift. So we'll reserve that conversation. That should really give you amazing low light, but we'll reserve that conversation for a few weeks out when we get I think we're both going to get, sounds like you're going to get the iPhone 12 Pro Max as well.
I think I'm going to turn this baby in for the iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Is that why you want the big sensor, or you just want the big screen?
Bigger, yeah, because
biggest screen Apple's ever made.
Exactly. This one's even bigger, which is awesome. And the the camera system is interesting to me, especially because I don't know if you know this, but right now I am talking to you through an iPhone 11, not an iPhone 11s, but an iPhone 11.
You use the iPhone as a camera.
Yes.
It looks great.
Right. And if you could see it directly from the camera, as in not through internet, it's even clearer. It's clear, it's crisp, it's beautiful. And so when I record video that gets sent, so for Hands on iOS, for example, it's crisp and it's good. And so I'm really excited about the new camera system and using that on occasion as well as a camera for the different stuff that I do.
Nice.
Look, LiDAR as an improvement to AR, augmented reality, is one thing, and it's fine. But the big place where LiDAR is going to rock everyone's socks is through the ability to autofocus in all sorts of light. We talked about this a little bit last time, that when Apple and when we tend to talk about low light photography, everybody kind of thinks photography taken at night or photography taken, in a haunted house or something like that. But really, low light photography is kind of the photos that most people are taking every day, because they're taking photos inside their homes with maybe an overhead light or maybe some living room, a floor lamp and a table lamp. But those could still be considered low light.
Low light is everything you do that's not outside in the sun, really.
Right.
Let's be honest about it.
Right. Because most of us don't have studio lighting to actually bring that, normal studio style lighting to a low light situation. So you are going to get this benefit in the photos that you're taking.
Every photo you take.
Exactly. And so we talked, in the past about LiDAR, but we'll quickly explain. It essentially is measuring the amount of time that it takes for light to reflect off of a surface. And so by looking, and I'll show you right here on the camera, that's this little dot here. Whoops, I'm going farther away from it. This little dot here, it looks out and it says, okay, I know that there's light there. How long does it take for that light to hit me again? When it hits, it can tell by the time that it takes how far away that item is. So if you can imagine, regardless of whether you've got a very dark photo or a very bright one, it can tell how close or how far that is from the camera and then use that to focus itself. So you're going to get crisper photos. You're going to get autofocus happening faster, which means that in situations where things are, moving quickly, you'll be able to capture that photo. That makes it helpful for me because my two dogs are not what is the term? Photogenic in the sense, they're photogenic in the sense that they're gorgeous and amazing and I love them, but they're not photogenic in the sense that they don't sit still for very long.
They keep moving.
And so this has been nice. Yeah, exactly. And I've actually noticed that I've noticed a difference with the LiDAR photography. I took this photo. This was taken in the dead of night.
What? So this is for those listening, it's a picture of a sunflower. Mm-hmm. So you mean it was dark out when you took that?
I mean that, yes.
Was there any illumination at all? Because it looks like there's some illumination.
There was some illumination. It was 9:45 at night. And there was some illumination, but far less than what you can see here on this photo. There was basically a light off in the distance. And
because it looks like you have a point light source on that because of the shadows
precisely.
And so forth. Yeah.
And check out this was a 3-second exposure. So you could see that was a car on the highway.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting trails from the car's lights. That's amazing. And you're hand holding that?
I'm hand holding this.
So this is one of the promises of the Max, is that you'd be able to do 2 or 3 second exposures handheld because of the optical image stabilization. But the way the iPhone's doing this with multiple shots and then picking the clear parts of the shot, this is really good. Either that or you have an extraordinarily steady hand.
Well, if you zoom in, you'll notice that it's a little fuzzy.
Okay.
So the closer you get, the more you can tell. But from a distance, I love this really weird sort of Tron style exposure in the background. I think that's fun. And
the trails from the car's lights. Yeah.
Yeah. For the level of darkness that it was out there at like a little bit past 9:45 at night, I thought this photo was pretty awesome that it was able to capture this.
That's really great.
So that's kind of what I wanted to use to test it, to do that. And that is because part of that is because of LiDAR, to be able to focus properly. But then, yes, even in this camera that has image stabilization on the lens, not on the sensor, with the 12 Pro, you still can take these long exposure photos that I think turn out quite well. And then there's also 10-bit HDR with Dolby Vision recording. So I did a silly video, let's see, showing some dye going into a cup. And I took this with the sunlight beaming in on the side. And what's interesting with this is I imported this into Final Cut Pro, and if you try to import this as a standard dynamic range video, it will clip. And like almost all of the highlights in this are clipped. Almost all of the shadows in this are clipped. And so you actually have to import it in a special library. And you can see there I zoomed in with the telephoto lens because it does HDR recording on all 3 of the lenses, which is just incredible. And I brought this in.
You mean macro telephoto with all 3 of the lenses? I don't understand.
Sorry, I said telephoto. I meant HDR with all 3 of the lenses.
HDR. Okay, good.
Dolby Vision is able to be done on all 3 of the camera lenses.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess it's just software. That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was neat. And then also,
you're not seeing that, and nor in fact am I seeing it in HDR. But I'm going to take your word for it and that's one of the things to say about this is the iPhone itself is HDR. It's that XDR display they're telling you. So it'll look great on your iPhone. Mm-hmm. It'll look crappy anywhere that doesn't have not crappy. You won't see HDR effects anywhere that doesn't support HDR. But if you're playing it back on YouTube on a 4K HDR display, so it's kind of interesting because it'll look best on your iPhone, I think.
Yeah, and you can
or someone else's iPhone.
Where you can AirPlay HDR content to a television that supports it. So I was able to take that clip, AirPlay it to my 4K Apple TV.
That's another thing. You have to have a 4K television. Apple TV. You can't use one of the older Apple TVs.
Right.
Wow.
And then, of course, on the 16-inch MacBook Pro screen, I launched Final Cut Pro. You have to create a special library that's just for HDR content, which was kind of interesting. Otherwise, it's really fascinating to see, and I should make a little video that shows kind of the separation between the two, because one is super clipped and the other one has all of that content in there and can show it off and display it.
And did you use iMovie? Because they updated iMovie to support HDR.
I was going to say that iMovie is updated. You can now import that HDR content right there. And yeah, I don't know. I've been having fun with this camera system.
I can't wait to play with that. Yeah. I just got a GoPro Hero 9, and I'm thinking, I guess I don't really need that now. I'm going to have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Really nice. Really nice. Yeah.
Of course, we got to talk about the fact that, and here, let me prepare this for the proper reveal. The box is a lot thinner this year. So typically it would be kind of stacked up about this high. The box is a lot thinner this year, and that's because you don't get headphones or an adapter in the box, and instead it just comes with a USB-C to Lightning cable inside of the box. and the iPhone itself. But Apple still does include a SIM ejector tool. And I wonder how many cars they could take off of the highway if they didn't include a sticker anymore. Because they still do include a sticker.
You got to have a sticker.
Box.
I sent my mom an iPhone 12 Pro, and she's getting it Friday. And it's Sprint because she's got a iPhone 6 Sprint. And I'm really glad to see the SIM injector in there because now, and this is going to be really interesting, via FaceTime, I'm going to have to explain to her how to take the SIM out of the old phone and put it in the new phone. I think the new phone comes with a Sprint SIM. I ordered a Sprint phone. So I think the other option, I'm trying to decide which will be easier, is for her to call Sprint and activate the phone.
That's going to be a toughie. Yeah.
Now, did you get the?
Yes, that was my last and final conversation here.
You know what I was talking about.
Yeah, because it makes that sound. So this is the new charging puck for the iPhone, and it is MagSafe technology. We've talked a little bit about it. It combines magnets as well as NFC and the standard charging coil to stick. And let me do that in front of the microphone so you can kind of hear the.
Wow. That really is quite a clunk.
It's just a little.
Yeah, that's nice. The thing is, it's in there. And doesn't the phone also make a special sound when you do that?
The phone makes a special animation. Let me see if I've got a separate USB-C I could plug it into here.
This is going to be tricky. He's got so many wires coming out of his phone now.
Yeah, so if I plug this in, I'll show you the USB or the animation that happens whenever you do this.
Yeah, I wanted to see that, yeah.
So I pop it on, and
birdie! So now you know you're charging.
It also makes a taptic vibration as well.
So you couldn't, and this is I got that from my mom too because she's 87. It's hard for her to figure out. She could plug in the lightning cable, but this wireless charging is going to be a little bit challenging for her. There's no, it's very clear when you couldn't put it on wrong, right? I mean,
yeah, there's no like placing it too low. It doesn't stick or anything like that. It very much, Apple has always been good about, they're more magnets than you would in theory need in order to make sure that the alignment is proper. Right. And here's the thing. So we've got to talk about this. The Qi charging standard is 7.5 watts max, 7.5 watts of power. It's kind of pushing into the device.
It takes a few hours, maybe overnight, to charge it fully.
Precisely. Because of MagSafe, because of the way that it aligns the coil so that it is right there in the center, it can charge up to 12 watts max instead of that standard 7.5. So you'll actually get a better charge using the new MagSafe charger than you would using just a standard Qi wireless charger because of that alignment. And the idea there is that, you can charge a little bit what they call off axis, where the coil can still push charge through even if it's not perfectly centered. But because of all the magnets and the NFC magic that happens there, when you, as it were,
I love it.
Then it's going to perfectly align the coils. And so then it can just push that power straight through, which I think is pretty great.
Okay.
That covers it. I mean,
did you get a case or any cases with this?
Not for this one, because I knew I was going to turn it in.
There was no question. Even before you got it, you knew, I want the big boy.
Well, I was pretty, I didn't want to get a case and then not end up using it.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like, I won't get a case because I know I can take care of this because I'm not going to be running around with it because I still have to have my other phone because that's my phone number. So I can be careful with it between now and then.
Please, will you?
Absolutely. Exactly. It'll be returned.
Please
if I were to hurt it, then obviously I would just keep it.
No.
But it'll be A-okay between now and then. And I do have, trust me, I've got a case saved for the 12 Pro Max.
Right.
The clear one is goofy, but I still want it.
That's the one I heard from my mom, again, because I want to make sure it's easy and clear to charge it. And it has a circle, has a target for the charging.
Yeah, exactly. A perfect target.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will complain about with the new charging cable is that, you set it on a surface, and when you bring your phone close to it, it kind of will shift around to properly magnetize. And so, I mean, for some people, that's a good thing because it means that it kind of lifts up and it charges. But I almost want the puck to be stuck, and I put my phone on top of it, and I know that
you could
there.
Velcro it to the
right. So you'd have to put something on the back, which is what I might do.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, when I look at it, it looks pretty big. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to carry in your backpack or your bag when you travel.
Yes, it's a little bit larger, and it's quite a bit larger than the Apple Watch charger for sure.
Yeah, it kind of is like the Apple Watch. It's like a giant version. Would you call it a soft Smartie?
Okay, all right. It's not a soft Smartie. It's a soft Sweet Tart. It's a chewable Sweet Tart. Okay?
Chewable Sweet Tart. Sorry. Good. Okay. Because I asked my wife, who is, frankly, the Smartie queen, and she said, there's no such thing as a chewable Smartie. I said, I'm pretty sure he said that, so it's a Sweet Tart. She said, maybe you're thinking of... Tart. Yeah, okay, so it's a chewable Sweet Tart size.
Yes.
Okay.
And because you don't have a charger or headphones in the box, that's equivalent to 450,000 fewer cars on the road per year.
And presumably you got one, but you really aren't going to want to use that little 5-watt crappy charger that came with previous iPhones. You're going to want, a bigger one. They offer a 20-watt. You know what I ended up doing? There's a lot of these so-called GAN chargers. They are offering what they call in the real world, the non-Apple world, they call it PD. It's USB-C power delivery, and for instance, this one, which is tiny from Anker, their PowerPort Atom PD1. You have that one too.
Yep.
This is, what is it? 30 watts, 60 watts? I can't remember. I can't read it either because it's so.
I think it's 30 max.
So you could carry this, and you do get the cable that works with this, the Type C to Lightning cable.
Yep.
I also bought on Anthony Nielsen's, our producer Anthony Nielsen's recommendations. I bought the Aoki 100-watt GAN charger, and that one. That one
will push some power.
I can use that to charge anything from my MacBook all the way down to my phone. So I think what'll happen is you'll carry one or two chargers, depending on how much you want to carry. And I think these GAN chargers are very compact. And so that'll save you a little space. But don't use the little 5-watt thing, because I doubt you could even get that puck working with the 5-watt thing, could you?
I'm not certain, actually. I should try.
USB-A.
No, I was going to say, I guess you can't anyway, because you've got to have a USB-C one. So you'd have to have a 5-watt USB-C, which I don't even know if they make those, or use a dongle, I guess.
Well, I have A to C, so I could plug it in. I'll try it when I get everything. I have a little drawer full of all the cars that I've put on the road. No, that's wrong. I have a drawer full of chargers, but that's what is Apple's point, is that probably by now everybody has a drawer full of chargers. So why pack them in? I don't have a problem with that. The headphone's a little more problematic. It kind of is a nudge to buy the $150 AirPods. Or the $40 Beats Flex that they came out with. Those are wireless?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not a bad choice. And I guess people still make Lightning headphones. There are some. The thing to point out at this point, by the way, is we might as well just get used to the idea that even the Lightning port is going away. I think it's pretty clear with MagSafe that this is the first step in getting rid of all the ports on iPhones. And I bet you it's next year.
Really?
Well, if it's not next year, it'll be the year after. I think it's the reason Apple didn't put Type-C on these new iPhones as they have on the new iPads, is because why go through 1 year of transition and then go to portless? I think they want to do portless. That's why you got MagSafe. And so I would not spend a lot of money on Lightning port accessories at this point. Let's put it that way. Go wireless or go home.
Exactly. Go wireless or go home.
You know what I just did?
What did you just did?
I went to Kickstarter. Look at that.
Okay.
Yep. And first of all, I got to be very careful going to Kickstarter because what's this? Wonder Puff cotton candy?
I saw it.
Oh, no, can't do that. Go, stop, Leo. Don't do that. Go to Mobile by Peak Design. My favorite company, Peak Design, makes, of course, great stuff for photographers. Everything they do. And I going back years because they were working with Trey Ratcliffe to design cases. So, of course, I got some amazing cases from Peak Design. And then they did camera straps, which I love. I got some amazing camera straps from Peak Design. I just got their mobile tripod. Peak Design was started in 2011 with their first Kickstarter, The Capture, successfully funded on Kickstarter. This is their 10th campaign on Kickstarter. And I love it that they do this. You see, this is, by the way, a very successful campaign. They were looking for $100,000. They have, as we record, a little more than that, $1.15 million in pledges with 6,000 backers. And why not? This is so great. If you're getting a new iPhone or if you have an old iPhone, this is a new case system that is just going to be great for photographers. They call it Mobile, M-O-B-I-L-E, by Peak Design. Mobile is an ecosystem of cases, of mounts, of accessories that make your phone a better tool for everything you do, from photo and video creation to bike and motorcycle riding to working in your home and office. In their words, it's right here on the page, you don't need more screen time. You need better screen time. And by the way, if you're getting an iPhone 12 as I am, don't worry. Not only do they have cases for all of the iPhones, it works with the iPhone 12 MagSafe system. So you're not giving up your MagSafe charging even. So how do these work? If you look at the case, you'll see a square on the back. That is a proprietary magnetic mechanical locking system that Peak Design calls SlimLink. It uses a precision machine piece of zirconia ceramic. That is hard. That is as hard as a diamond. And an array of magnets. So it's a very easy, straightforward, intuitive, no-look connection, just like the MagSafe. And it goes right on there, compatible with wireless charging. And then they have, with a little twist, hard locking for extreme activity. So I've got the whole thing because I want to get on my bicycle. I'm going to put the hard lock. That's bouncing around. I don't want my phone, heaven forfend, to fall off. So what it does is you put the phone on there, you twist it, and now it's hard locked and it cannot fall off. But for a lot of other places, the car mount, I got two mounts for the house, so I could put one in the kitchen when I'm cooking, and it just goes. And the magnet's more than enough to hold it. It's not my kitchen's not bouncing around. The SlimLink system goes in the everyday phone case, which is slim, but it also protects. And in fact, when you pair it with your mobile device, yes, there's an app. It opens up the entire ecosystem of mounts and accessories. There's a wallet with a built-in kickstand. I think I'd rather do that than Apple's kind of weird credit card wallet. There's I can't wait to get this, a machine aluminum tripod with a buttery smooth ball head. That's really important so you can get just the right angle. That's for mobile devices, and it goes right under the case. I love making that sound. Charging and non-charging mounts for the dash of your car. Hard locking mounts for total security within your biking or motorcycle riding. They have a motorcycle mount. There's a charging stand for your desk or bedside table. It's like the MagSafe, but your phone goes right on that and then charges. There are the wall mounts that I mentioned. In fact, they have a whole kit of adapters, and I love this, that mount to your standard GoPro or Arca style systems, which is really great because I have a ton of both. Peak Design has always supported Arca, so I have, whenever I buy a new camera, I get an Arca compatible frame to go around it from Really Right Stuff, and then I just can easily click it right into my travel tripod from Peak Design because it supports that Arca, which is fantastic. It also supports, well, I can go on and on. I'm a complete Peak Design nerd. I love these guys. It will work with all iPhone 12 models. But if you go on the website, you'll see it'll work with pretty much any phone. They're the world's most crowd-funded active company. They have found, thanks to Kickstarter, a very loyal, stoked, and passionate community. I'm in that community. Peak Design, San Francisco-based. They're great people. Ant Pruitt, he's big Peak Design user. Their straps are the best straps in the world. All my cameras, I take off the Steal Me strap that says, "This is a very expensive camera," and I put the much more comfortable, much more flexible Peak Design straps with their release system is fantastic. To learn more about the mobile, you see I'm going into the whole Peak Design spiel. Let's talk about the mobile. Go to Kickstarter. Actually, the best thing to do is we've got a web page that will take you so you don't have to remember anything. Just go to Peak Design, P-E-A-K, like a mountain peak. Design, it's in their logo. peakdesign.com/twit. That'll take you right to the Kickstarter. Please support Peak Design. These guys are great. There's a whole variety of ways you can participate to just get the case or get the whole kit and caboodle, which is what I did. peakdesign.com/twit. We're big Peak Design fans here. We're peakers. And I'm really excited. I knew they were doing this. I think Ant got a preview of it and was saying, wait till you see this. And I'm so excited. peakdesign.com/twit. Thank you for supporting iOS today. We really appreciate it, Peak. On we go with the show. Mr. Mikey Sargent. To the news.
Up first, Allstate has come back and said, look, the iPhone 12 drop tests, they're better than any other smartphone.
Wow.
So, again,
it'll still break, but it won't break as badly?
As much as. So, in a, say you drop an iPhone 20 times, an iPhone 12 20 times, and you drop another smartphone 20 times, the iPhone 12 breaks fewer times than the other smartphone would break in that same 20 times, basically.
Nice.
So, it's stronger. The basically, I think that what this says more than anything else is that new ceramic shield is not just marketing speak.
Yes.
It actually is more resistant.
Good.
So I think that's cool. And then Allstate, I don't know, there's something funny to me about an insurance company that I just hear that guy, that's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands? And apparently you're not in good hands if you drop your iPhone 12 a bunch of times. You should relook at those hands. The thing that I hinted at earlier was a report from Tom's Guide talking about the iPhone 12 and battery life. They tested the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro and compared it between 5G and 4G. And here were the results. The regular iPhone 12, so the non-Pro iPhone 12, lasted 8 hours and 25 minutes on AT&T's 5G network.
Yeesh.
The iPhone 11 of last year was 11 hours and 16 minutes. So let me say that again. 8 hours and 25 minutes to 11 hours and 16 minutes. That's a 3-hour-ish drop. When you switch the iPhone 12 to 4G mode, no 5G, it endured for 10 hours and 23 minutes, so an hour less than last year's model. The iPhone 12 versus some of the other big phones, so the Galaxy S20, the OnePlus 8T, and the Pixel 5, the OnePlus 8T and the Google Pixel 5 were both better than the iPhone 12 in terms of battery life.
The headline of Tom's Guide's article is, the iPhone 12 battery life results are in, and they're not great. Sigh. I hope this isn't just because of all that 5G stuff that they put in there, because that's not something most people are going to take advantage of, and that would be a shame to sacrifice battery life for a feature nobody wants or needs.
Right. And so I think that's a good time to say, launch your settings app, choose cellular, choose cellular data options. On voice and data, just choose LTE to shut off 5G entirely.
Yeah, I will do that on mine because we don't even really have it here. So, and it's, as you saw when Mikah used it, not much of an advantage.
Was not faster for us here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an important thing. So for folks who are getting MagSafe stuff, it's important to note that if you thought, oh, I like the way that new MagSafe puck looks, and I'm not getting a new phone, but I want to use it on my older phone, be aware that the iPhone 11 and older iPhones are charging incredibly slowly using the new MagSafe charger.
Not even 7.5 watts, less.
No, in fact, 0.96 watts.
So you should stick with your Qi charger. Don't get the MagSafe.
Don't get MagSafe unless you have a MagSafe compatible iPhone.
I wish Apple had said that. They should have just said does not work or is not recommended for iPhone 11 and earlier. I don't know. Maybe they do on their website.
There's a great video from the Max Tech YouTube channel where the YouTuber used some meters to test the power of the MagSafe charger and basically how much it was outputting. And there's even some information kind of about using different chargers from different adapters from different adapters from different manufacturers to talk about what works best to provide the most power. So yeah, I think this was good to kind of understand that if you don't have MagSafe, it may not be worth getting a MagSafe charger. And it could be that there ends up being a firmware update that fixes this issue. Might not be. And as we say, don't buy technology for how it's going to work in the future. Buy technology for how it works now.
Apple says the magnetic alignment experience only applies to iPhone 12 and 12 Pro models, but they don't say anything about don't use this. Let's see. Let me look at the compatibility. Yeah, they say it's compatible with everything down to the 8 Plus or the 8. But it's compatible, but it won't. But don't get it. I think Apple should be more clear. It's
compatible, but it's not going to do the best.
It's not going to charge you very fast. So that's
No.
Okay.
1.83 watts for the iPhone SE. It pushed through. So no, not great.
Yeah, don't get it for that. Get a cheaper Qi charger.
And then continuing on the MagSafe conversation, Apple itself has a support guide out that says, hey, your MagSafe charger might leave, just like the HomePod was, it might leave circular imprints
Great.
on your case. They say it's just for leather cases, but some users some customers have already complained of circular imprints on their silicone cases as well. So
are they permanent, or can you rub them out, or?
It doesn't say, the people just saw the lines and then complained about it, but
permanent maybe on leather, because leather really does, that's the whole kind of one of the points of leather is it kind of shows its age,
right?
Yeah. But I have all sorts of marks on my leather case, but I don't know. Yeah, you don't really want a circular one right there all the time. I'll be getting Apple's case. In fact, I'm going to get Apple's case with the circle on it, so you'll never even know.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
The circle's pre-installed.
Great.
Yeah,
exactly. That pretty much does it for the news. There weren't a whole lot of stories because everybody was kind of covering the iPhone 12. But I do want to give a quick PSA. If you get an iPhone 12 and you've been using contact tracing in the states or countries that support it, if you've been using a contact tracing app, be aware that you may have to enable contact tracing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So even if you bring over your phone from an iCloud backup or do, the transfer from phone to phone, you may have to go into the settings and re-enable exposure notifications. So you launch the settings app, you choose notifications, you tap exposure notifications, and then you choose allow notifications. So
I have noticed this in the past, and I am going to make an attempt to really pay attention when I upgrade this time, that lately many of the settings go back to defaults. So even if you're restoring from a previous iPhone, it doesn't necessarily restore the settings the way they were. A lot of them go back to the defaults. So it's probably I'll have a report for you when I get the new iPhone, which is a few weeks away. I will make a note of all of my settings, do the restore, and see which settings have reverted, because I have a feeling it's not just that one.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's great. I had to, as usual, because I'm a tester, I had to basically set up the iPhone 12 Pro
from scratch.
from scratch and then install the beta so that I could then set it up from my iCloud backup.
Oh, yeah, because you can't unless the versions match. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's always kind of
by the way, good hint. If you are going to get a new iPhone and you're still in the beta for the old iPhone, maybe you want to turn off that beta now.
Yeah.
So that you don't have this.
Upgrade to iOS proper so that you don't have to do that dance.
Yeah, that's what I did. I do that every time because I don't want to always be beta. I don't want to be beta for the next version. So as soon as I got iOS 14 on my iPhone, I took that. You just delete that profile and you'll no longer be offered betas and you'll be on the kind of the standard official version, which will make backup and restore a lot easier. Yeah.
So yeah, that covers it for the news. But I have a question, Leo.
Yeah.
I need my family to be safer, smarter, and wiser about their online password management. Yeah. What do I do about that?
You, my friend, you need LastPass. Ladies, our sponsor, not only our sponsor, they're the guys who put together the whole studio for us here, the naming rights this whole year. And I have to take a little credit, I think, for LastPass's great success this year. Oh, maybe COVID and work from home gets some credit too. Now 25 million users for the #1 award-winning password manager. All right, maybe COVID gets a little bit of the credit here for this because with so many people working from home, a lot of companies suddenly thought, well, we better rethink what they call it, the identity and access management. Our employees are now in the office using our corporate network. We're going to have to go some extra miles to protect ourselves because they've got the passwords, the keys to the kingdom to everything in this business. Our QuickBooks, our bank accounts, our websites, our customer records, everything. And they're taking them home to an unknown network. How do we protect them? How do we protect ourselves? LastPass has been a saving grace to our company and every company who has to deal with this. It lets you set up, utilize, and share strong passwords for your entire team, for all of their accounts. I don't want to actually give short shrift to that share part of it, because if you don't have LastPass, you've got employees going home with the passwords to, let's say, your bank account, and then, I need to, Joe needs access to that, and they may be texting or emailing in clear text passwords and vital credentials. No, that's terrible. You don't want that. LastPass has built-in absolutely secure password sharing. So you know exactly who has access, the IT department knows, who has access to which passwords. It's never a surprise. What's Joe doing in the bank account? You know, and in fact, if you don't want Joe in the bank account, you can control that. You can keep Joe out, which is my experience is the best thing to do, is never let Joe in your bank account. I'm not saying this happened or anything. This is I'm just kidding. This is a big, crucial step toward improved data security. LastPass, and this is the other amazing thing about LastPass, does this, makes you more secure, gives the IT department oversight over who's accessing what, when, where, without making it harder on your employees. It's actually easier. Once they get used to the idea that they've got LastPass, they sit back and relax. LastPass generates strong passwords. They don't have to reuse monkey123 over and over again. And it stores those passwords, remembers them. That's really great. That's a relief to the employees. Plus, it automatically fills it in on your desktop, on your mobile device, so you don't even have to type these passwords anymore. You know, if you have to type them, you're probably going to use a short, memorable password. But with LastPass passing it in, hey, give me 36 characters with punctuation, upper and lowercase numbers, give me the whole kit and caboodle, and that's more secure for your company. LastPass uses a zero-knowledge security model, so that means it assumes anybody, whether they're inside the perimeter or outside, is a potential threat. That's what you want. That's what Google invented this, and it's really what you want. You can no longer assume just because somebody's, I think I trust them, that they should have access to everything. LastPass really lets you control that. Security is their #1 priority. And they do something called multi-factor. So yes, of course, and we strongly encourage it. In fact, it's one of the policies we enforce here at Twit, 2-factor authentication for the master password for all of our employees. We also have minimum requirements for the master password. We want to make sure that that password, the one they do have to remember, is really strong and secure. But they also, and I think this is so great, go the step beyond. You can use fingerprint recognition or face recognition, but they do what they call multi-factor. There's additional contextual information that helps authenticate the user, their IP address, of course, but even like geolocation and more stuff. It's really kind of impressive. This way you really know you've got shadow IT that can oversee everything that's going on. There's never any question who has access to what from where. Of course, all the buzzwords, AES 256-bit encryption. They do something really clever. Steve Gibson really liked this when he was reviewing LastPass. They use PBKDF2 to make it much harder to brute force your password. So I set mine, I think, 100,000 iterations. It's just, it's just not possible to brute force the passwords anymore. They use salted hashes, SSJ 256, all the things you'd expect to make sure your data is safe. Only decrypted at device level, always encrypted before it's set off device. Your master password never leaves your device. LastPass doesn't know it. Only you know it. I think that's so important. 8 awards so far this year alone for LastPass. PC Magazine's Editor's Choice. That's kind of the big one. Well, Fortress Cybersecurity Award, great. Business Insider's Best Overall Password Manager, great. That's just a few. You don't have to take my word for it. LastPass speaks for itself. There's no better time to get LastPass. It's not too late. You still got employees out there. If you don't have LastPass for your business, if you don't use LastPass at home, get it. LastPass.com/twit. Ease the burden for yourself and your remote workforce with the cybersecurity protection you need. Everybody I know, I'm like the LastPass proselytizer. I think you are too. Get LastPass. LastPass.com/twit. Let's get some questions from our audience.
Yes, the first question comes from Paul. Paul says, I received my gorgeous new blue iPhone 12, good choice, which I love.
He Paul gets the nice blue, the bright blue compared to...
bright blue, exactly.
We were talking about this on Twit. Brianna Wu said, traditionally bright colors are considered kind of lower class, and the more muted colors. And Apple apparently has fallen for this because you have the muted blue on your Pro, and he gets in my opinion, the much nicer bright blue on his 12.
Yeah, this is like navy blue, and the other blue is blue.
Blue. He's got blue.
Paul's got blue. Blue says, Paul asks, what are the key differences between Qi and MagSafe charging, and do you think it likely that a lot of non-Apple MagSafe products will be released?
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, Paul, I will say, first of all, judging by the number of emails I have received in the past week from manufacturers who are making MagSafe products for the iPhone, heavens yes, there will be lots of non-Apple MagSafe chargers.
One of the reasons Apple is not charging a license fee for MagSafe, it's very expensive to do MFI, made for iPhone. There's a lot of money you pay to Apple to get that certified, but they're letting anybody make a MagSafe adapter. That was a smart move.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No license fee. It's open.
As for Qi versus MagSafe, we talked a little bit about this earlier in the episode. Qi charging is a more standard protocol or standard set of rules and guidelines that manufacturers have to follow that combine to make for a wireless charging and inductive charging capability. And that means that I can have something like this, which is Nomad's base station for your desk. And I can take my iPhone and I can place it onto this, and I can move it a little bit and it can still charge, move it a little bit this way, it can charge. I can take my AirPods Pro case and put it on here and it will charge. And with MagSafe, you have, as the name would lead you to believe, magnets that play a role in the charging experience. So what this means in terms of charging capabilities is Apple is touting 12 watts of charging max versus 7.5 watts of charging max for your standard Qi charging. And that is because of the precise alignment of the inductive coil that lines up with the coil inside of your phone to provide for that charging experience.
We should say, technically, MagSafe is a superset of Qi. So it is Qi plus magnets.
Qi plus, yeah.
And so that's nice because it means you can continue to use any Qi-based chargers. Qi is a much broader specification. Asus, Google, Apple, HTC, Huawei, LG, Motorola, Nokia, Samsung, BlackBerry, Xiaomi, Sony, all work with Qi. And so you're going to have a much more compatible situation, but you're going to have somewhat slower charging. Although there is a newer Qi charge class that goes up to 30 watts.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has yet implemented that. That was released a couple of years ago. It's called Power Class 0. So in theory,
all these names.
And I think Samsung's doing it. I think there are some doing it. So the difference between Qi and MagSafe is not the increased wattage. It's really the magnet.
Mm-hmm.
But Apple devices can't charge faster than 7.5 watts with standard Qi. Samsung, for instance, I think is a lot faster. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I guess the OnePlus 8 with the right charger and the right phone will do that 30-watt charging that you talked about.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
some of the devices will.
In theory, it could go up to 200 watts, but that's more for like things like robot vacuums, where you don't really need that on a phone.
Yeah, 200 watts.
That seems a little more. We should also point out, slower charging is generally better for your battery. It doesn't heat it up as much. It's not as harmful to the chemistry. So there is a trade-off between fast charging and battery life.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially when it comes, when we're talking about charging and charging faster and more power, when it comes to this wireless charging, this inductive charging, absolutely. The more the more power we're pumping in, potentially the more heat and the more effect that has on the battery. And in fact, Apple's MagSafe technology, it can do up to those 12 watts, but it will actually reduce the output if the battery starts to heat up too much.
Right.
So it's trying to play that smart because too much heat on the battery is a bad thing. And just recently on Tech News Weekly, Jason and I covered a story that was talking about how so much the sort of output versus the heat expenditure that takes place in a home, where your cooling bill can end up being affected enough by the output of the heat that it doesn't it doesn't make sense in terms of the cost saving benefits.
Heat is also an indication that it is not efficient. If you have heat, that means there's energy that is not going to the battery, that is going elsewhere. So that's also a somewhat more inefficient way of charging than directly connecting. So if your power bills are a concern, I don't know if it impacted hugely, but if you're or maybe you just want to be greener, wired charging is going to always be both faster and more efficient than wireless charging. Wireless charging is a convenience. 15-watt charging, the kind MagSafe does, is currently supported by LG, Sony, Xiaomi, and Sharp. And Samsung, as I mentioned, has proprietary extensions that go even faster if you get a Samsung charger. I can't remember. I think you can get up to 30 watts. So, again, Apple's secret sauce is not faster charging. They're just catching up on that thing. It's the magnet. And the fact that you can still use it with Qi everywhere is really important, and I hope Apple never gives that up, because Qi is a standard. I mean, you can go to an airport bar and there'd be a Qi power mat that you could charge there. Qi has won. Qi is the definitive standard, so it's good for Apple to continue to support that, and I hope they do.
I wish the Apple Watch would do standard.
Yeah, that's a problem.
By the way, I also tried to use the
puck?
New MagSafe puck with the Apple Watch just to see.
Did it?
It doesn't work.
No,
doesn't work.
Too big.
Too bad. And then here is the one I warned you about. So get ready. Tony writes in to say, I was listening to which iPhone should you get, and you guys explained that you charge your phone overnight. You also told your listeners to do the same, which hurts the battery. I can't believe you don't understand this. I suggest you try to undo the damage and let your users know to not fully charge or discharge your battery as much as possible.
Where did Tony get that idea?
Tony.
Tony has read something, which is true, that overcharging or a battery is bad for lithium-ion battery. But good luck overcharging any modern phone, because they all have circuitry that prevent that. Overnight charging, keeping your device plugged in, this laptop's been plugged in for 5 years, is not going to damage the battery. Well-designed electronics have circuitry to prevent that. So you're right, Tony. In theory, if you could do that to your battery, it'd be bad for it. But the way it works is, you could say maybe causing somewhere is it charges it, then it lets it go down a little bit, then it charges more, lets it go down. So it's oscillating around the 100% charged level. So I guess in a way, you add up enough of those, you're going to get a full charging cycle. But in all modern electronics, it does not in any clear way affect the life of the battery. So go ahead, Tony. Leave your Qi charger on all night long. He's been working. He's been working hard.
From 2018, and
you
I
can't
think
look at that. Can I say one other thing?
Please
Just
do.
because it's on YouTube doesn't mean it's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Pat writes in, and this is a follow-up, and I love this. Hello, Leo and Mikah. Hey, do you guys have any idea what you're doing to my marriage?
Uh-oh.
I come home from work and am greeted by the sounds of your voices as my husband, Vinny, remember Vinny from Long Island?
I remember Vinny.
Sits transfixed, watching two men in silly hats playing with their devices. As we sit at the dinner table, I am regaled with stories of the latest app that Vinny has heard about on iOS today. It's really cool. Last week, my husband reached out to you for help with his 1,000 plus apps, of which at least half were results of recommendations from you guys. And you ruthlessly insulted him, suggesting he go app bankrupt. Now I am left to pick up the pieces of his broken soul. Thanks to you, I have to find some sort of rehab for my app-addicted husband before he goes full bananas and starts wearing a wacky hat while buying 99-cent apps at 3 a.m. Have mercy, fellas.
That's great. Thank you.
Oh, Pat, what a delight. I hope, Vinny, that you get the help that you are looking for with the 1,000 plus apps that you've downloaded, and any role that I played or Leo played in that.
We're so sorry.
We're so sorry.
We try not to be addictive. Honest, we do.
Please. All right. I think it's time for our app caps.
Speaking of funny hats, winter is coming, and I've decided I would wear a bright orange hat. You, my friend, are wearing the parquet crown.
Yeah.
Butter. That's the worst crown I've ever seen.
It looks like it cost 2 cents.
It's a mushy crown.
You put it a quarter into one of those machines, and somehow they fit this whole thing into one of those little.
Now I have to ask you. Next iPad today, iOS today, well, actually, it isn't really. This is kind of the Halloween edition. Are you going to...
wait, is this the one?
We should have worn costumes.
Oh, I need to switch hats.
I was thinking it was next week, but next week it'll be over. Next week is the scariest day of the year, Election Day.
Oh, my gosh, you're right.
So...
Well, hold on.
Hold on. Everybody get a costume on.
Everybody run away.
Okay, I don't think anybody's gonna give us any candy.
Jedi or
and I made a mistake because I threw out the picture, and there's all these pieces that I don't know where the hell they go. So
which one are you, a Jedi or a druid?
I'm supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I guess I could be a druid. I feel like I'm missing pieces. I know I am. They're sitting over there on the
lightsaber.
I'm a druid priest. How do you like that? And what are you?
I'm a bat. I'm just a bat.
Okay. Did you pull your jacket up around your face to hide it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a bat hat.
It's just a bat hat. But okay, so basically I needed some hats for iOS today, and so I got this like party pack of hats.
Oh, smart.
there happened to be a bat one inside, and I thought that's perfect for Halloween. So I've been waiting to wear this. I think it's adorable. And that crown was also one, that smushy crown.
Yeah.
But the
this is
bat
good.
hat, I think, is
This
great.
is good. I'll have to look at the picture before Halloween and see, because I feel like,
Wow, yeah. I can't believe it's already the 27th. My God.
how did that happen?
And
Anyway, why do we wear hats or costumes?
we wear costumes because of reasons of
Because of Sarah
tradition.
freaking Lane. That's why.
Yeah, Sarah Lane is responsible
That's
for
her
us wearing
fault.
hats. We wear hats to honor our app picks of the week. These are the apps we are using and loving this week that we want to share with all of you. Halide has...
Oh, so we fought over this. I'm going to tell you a little behind the scenes.
Yes, please do.
Because we both got the press release, right? You were embargoed
Yes.
last week. I knew about it last week. And we kind of were racing to select the proper week for the app cap. But I gave it to you because I'm a nice guy and
because I've got the new iPhone.
because you have something that you can use it with.
Yes.
Yes.
That works better with it, I guess. This is Halide Mark II.
So I've always
And-
been a Halide fan. It was an app cap of mine years ago. These guys do amazing software for cameras, and Halide 2 is designed to take advantage of the new iPhone camera.
Yes. So this, of course, works with the iPhone 12. I want to talk about the subscription model. So if you bought Halide leading up to this, then you get Halide Mark II in its current edition for free. Future updates you can get by subscribing for, it's only $10 a year, which is, I think, very reasonable, especially because Halide makes sure to take advantage of the new iPhone features as quickly as possible. So let's talk about it a little bit, what's available now. So I brought up the mode so that I can choose the settings and talk about the different, so there's capture, there's customize, and there's advanced. If I choose capture, you see this mode called coverage. So what this does is it captures both a JPEG and a RAW image at the same time, so that when you take a photo, you don't have to choose between a RAW photo and a JPEG photo. You can go ahead and get the Apple image sensor processor processed photo that is a JPEG and the RAW image that you can then go and edit however you want to at the same time. And then there are different capture formats for RAW. So there's RAW Plus, which does the HEIC image or HEIC image processed, and then a RAW photo. And then a normal RAW is just the normal kind of standard RAW without that HEIC, high efficiency image capture format. Location information, of course, and then some choices for like using Deep Fusion and Smart HDR. So when you have this, it will basically choose, it'll help you choose, do I want to do a RAW photo or do I want to do Deep Fusion and Smart HDR based on the scene? So it kind of, instead of you having to choose between them again, it makes the best choice for you based on the photo that you're taking. So I love these settings in here where it can be smart about what it does. You can customize kind of the tools that are available to you here. But what I love, this is a new thing in this version of Halide, is I can tap on what you can do with Halide, and it takes you to the website that has 10 lessons so that you can learn how to use Halide and also just learn about photography in general in 10 days. And so I love this idea of having these different lessons here. Well, look, you can see that 4G or 5G wasn't loading this dadgum page, so I had to change it to this. And then you can go through and get that 10-day course to see how to use Halide properly. There are different modes and different histograms. So you can see here, we've got, what is that, a luminance histogram. You can either have it in the top or below you, the different 4/3 and the grid there. And then look at that nice, what do we call that? I can't think of the name of it right now. The alignment rectangle that helps you make sure that you're lining up your shot properly.
Yeah.
Yes. And so if I'm off axis
and that's an actual, so there are a variety of grids you can use too. But I think the most important part to this Halide is the new histogram system. You're seeing the basic histogram down there at the bottom, but they also have RGB histograms. This is a pro app. And one of the things that the folks who do Halide have done, in the past and will do again this time, is they are so smart at taking advantage of the hardware and of the capabilities. So you get access to the low-level sensor information, the raw information. This has always been a problem on an iPhone, for instance. To get the raw information, you're leaving behind all the computational photography that Apple is so good at. So they've come up with a new format. Apple has their new ProRes RAW or ProRAW Res, ProRAW Res RAW. But Halide, until that comes out later this year, Halide offers it right now, which is kind of a layered form of RAW that gives you the sensor data plus all the computational data in layers, so you can pick and choose what you want. Apple's going to offer that down the road. Halide gives it to you today. This is just, if you're a photography buff, this is a must-have. And I did pay for the original Halide. I could use this for free, but I signed up for the subscription. $10 a year for existing users, $12 for new users, is well worth it to keep this development going, because I think what Halide is doing is incredible. This is a great app. I'm sorry. I know it's your app, but I have to throw my 2 cents.
No, I love that you are throwing your 2 cents.
I'm very enthusiastic about the future of Halide. This is really exciting.
We should also talk about the fact that along with being a photo camera, along with being a camera, it is also a photo processor. So I've launched the Reviewer, where you can, if you have a raw photo, you can hit the Instant RAW button, which basically uses machine learning to develop your RAW in a good way. It has information for the shutter speed, the ISO, all of the information you could possibly want, including the depth data and the image matte, which I think is just super cool that it's got all of that stuff built in right there. And then what I love too is a shortcut to launch Darkroom, because I love using Darkroom.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's really great. That's the one I like too. There's so many features in this. You're gonna want to go through the manual to take a look at it, because it's just super powerful and gives you all sorts of information about what's going on. They also have made it, given all of the settings, they've really cleaned it up. It's a lot easier to use. As you can see, I'm really adept at it. They've really added some huge capabilities, but they haven't cluttered up the screen, and you can swipe in and out and get additional features as you work with it. These zebras, which I was talking about earlier, which show you, where you're getting peak information in which color channel. I think that by itself makes it worthwhile. But the manual mode, the auto mode, everything that they've got in here has just taken what was the best camera app for the iPhone and made it even better. These guys have really knocked it out of the park. I love Halide. Their sister app Spectre, I imagine, which is the one that lets you do time-lapse photography, not time-lapse, but long shutter speed, long exposure photography, I imagine will also be updated with some of these features. I'm just really excited about what they're doing.
And I also love that they've always got excellent blogs and write-ups about all of this technology.
Yeah. In fact, they do a better job than Apple, I think, of explaining the new camera capabilities. I always go to read their blog to see what's going on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Blog.halide.com or halide.com will take you to the blog that they have, where they talk about all the new features. And I think the latest one talks about, using Mark II and what all is included, but then combines that with, and there's Spectre that's mentioned as well, that's listed as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to get the best out of your camera, you need not go farther than using Halide, because it has everything you could possibly want. Instant raw, color zebras, or zebras, depending on who you ask. Smart focus peaking, RGB waveforms, portrait mode, uses the LiDAR sensor properly, histogram information. I think that the metadata display is actually really cool, and I wish I could show it to you if it didn't have my address listed there, because it also has that depth and matte information to show both forms, and then comes in the high efficiency image capture format and JPEG. I mean, it's got everything, and I love that they let you not, because the Photos app kind of picks what it feels is the best and just sticks with that. But to get all of that information that's possible using this app, I think is just so awesome.
You're seeing the depth information coming in from the LiDAR, or actually the face depth sensor on the iPhone 11. I can't wait to see how this works on the iPhone 12. It's going to be very exciting. I immediately paid the subscription fee. I said, "You guys, you're knocking it out of the park. You're doing it again. Thank you." Yeah, they deserve the money. And I want them to keep doing the development, too. So we're really promoting this. Yeah, read the blog, blog.halide.com, Halide, if you want to see all of the features. It's really far too many for us to go through them all, frankly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Leo, why don't you tell us about your
Is it
app
my
cap?
turn? All right, let me quickly
It's your turn.
I'm going to quickly grab the Apple TV so I can get you the audio and the video of my app cap.
Oh, beautiful. We love that.
Yes, I know you do. So in the good old days, way back when, of computing, one of my favorite games of all time was called Lemmings. You're probably too young to have played Lemmings.
I know what a lemming is, but I've never played Lemmings.
Well, there is a fantastic recreation of this game from the early 90s. So the idea is these lemmings, they march, they keep marching, they never stop marching. The idea is to get them home, as many as you can. And my goal is to get 60 out of 60 home. And you do it, I can't remember how. See, they're squishing here. They're falling off the cliff. I need to save them. This is the tutorial. Place an umbrella to soften their fall. Now they hit the umbrella and they land. But now there's another problem. These lemmings, they can't get over this hump to get to the exit down here. So I'm going to place a little stairway that they're going to slowly build. This, you'll see, is a little bit, I guess, a concession to young people today who are so stupid. They're doing a little bit more to explain how it works.
God.
Because you guys couldn't figure it out.
You really feel it.
No, I'm just teasing. But they do give you a kind of a better tutorial on how it works. There, I've got them all there. I got 58 out of 60 back to home, only lost 2. This is a classic Apple II game, believe it or not, that is now brought to the iPad where it really belongs. So I'm going to have them be a digger. So let's be a... Usually, it used to be you would assign the capability to an individual lemming, but... Okay. So now this block is also destructible, but how do I get them up there? Well, I'm going to need a way for them to climb up. We're still in the tutorial mode. This is one of my favorite, but they can use portals to go up or down. Oh, that's something new. Let's see. Dig another block to access the portal. Okay. So they've slightly modified how this works. Oh, I see. The portal will bring them up there. But the thrust of it is the same. You've got these mindless creatures marching. You have to protect them from their doom and get them back home. Look at that. They're going home, and they cheer when they get home.
Cute. Like they're saying thank you.
Yeah. This was, in an Apple II, this was a black and white kind of vector game. We'll go through the rest of the tutorial just to give you a better idea of all the things you can do. But once you finish the tutorial, you're going to get complicated environments that you have to use the tools that you have learned. Place consecutive staircase actions to reach the exits. So we're going to have to place one here, and then one here, and then one here, and then one... What? An umbrella? What? Oh no. Here. And then I guess I didn't make, oh, there we go. Whew. They're making their staircase to paradise. Oh, I get it. We have to place an umbrella there for those who are falling off before we can finish this staircase. And now it is complete, and these lemmings will go home happy and satisfied without losing a single man or whatever they are. Whoopee! So this is free. There are in-app purchases. I have not played enough to find out what they are. I bet you they're going to be expensive, but I don't care because I am playing Lemmings, one of the great, all-time great games, is back. And I honestly, for the last 30 years, I have been searching. Every few years I search for, has anybody brought a decent version of Lemmings out yet? And finally, somebody has, and it's on my iPad, which is a perfect place because it's a completely a touch game, you know. Now I'm definitely going to need an umbrella here because that's a long drop. Place a blocker to turn lemmings around. You see these dumb lemmings.
Those silly little lemmings.
They're gonna go that way, and I need to place a blocker here so that they go that way. So now I made the staircase. They've climbed up. Their umbrella is keeping them from splatting. They hit the blocker and go, oh, you want me to go that way? See that one? I don't know. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but that one is like got his hands out saying, no, don't go this way. It's not safe. You'll be electrocuted.
Stop.
Yeah. And then they're going to all get into the exit, and we'll be done with the tutorial. And they're probably going to ask me for money, and I don't care how much. I'm going to pay it because I am a lemming. It's kind of appropriate that iOS users should be playing a game called Lemmings, don't you think?
I'll let you say
that. Oh, and have to tap the blocker.
Always
say,
the
go ahead, and he can go back in. And we are done with iOS today. You got the lemming sound. You're very good.
Thank you.
You never heard of this game before?
No, but it reminds me a little bit of Rayman.
That sound is, yeah, but this predates Rayman. I mean, this goes way back to the dim, dark days of. Let me see if how much money they're going to want here. I've done the tutorials. Let's see. Tap to continue. World completed. You earned 60 points. Whoops. Okay. Now what? Mushroom Wild. Clean the debris. So, unfortunately, this isn't a pure port of the original Lemmings. I wish it were, but it's close, and it seems like they've added some new things. And energy refills with time. Don't lose a refill. Energy notifications. So
that's where the pay to play.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff. There's tribes. Collect a character and unlock the tribes. There's tournaments, and here's the store where you can buy crap. Play without limits, $6.99.
For only 2 hours of unlimited energy.
Yeah. Mayhem levels, season 1 on $14.99. Unlocks all the levels. Progression booster bundle. Yeah, I'm sad because I really wish this was an Apple Arcade game. Because I would really love to just pay once. Or even if it weren't an Apple Arcade game, charge me $15. I would pay it. To play Lemmings without all this hoorah. But they know they can make a lot more money if they have a store and they charge you. Still, if you're a Lemmings aficionado, as us old folks are, you might be happy to see it back. We do iOS today every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Now, normally that would be 1600 UTC, but I have to say the time is changing. We will be setting our clocks back on Sunday after Halloween. That was changed back under George W. Bush because the Candy Makers of America, does not look good for my lemmings.
That sounds like those lemmings are not doing so hot.
The Candy Makers of America lobbied the Congress and the White House to change daylight saving end time to the day after Halloween.
Wow.
So that they could sell more candy. But that's just how it is in this world.
It's on Dia de los Muertos.
If you've got the cheddar, you can buy the Congress. So
if you've got the cheddar, you could buy the candy.
Buy the candy. So we will be changing on Sunday, which and by the way, Europe has already changed. Other parts of the world mostly have already changed, and they're back into standard time. We will go back to standard time on Sunday. But that means next Tuesday, we will begin an hour earlier than you think. So right now, 1600, it will be 1500 UTC.
There you go.
Okay, just the UTC never changes. We do. But for those of you in the U.S., it will stay 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern time. If you want to watch live, twit.tv/live. That's the place to tune in, twit.tv/live. There's audio and video there. If you're doing that, you might as well be in the chat room. People join the chat room early to watch iOS Today, and you can do it too at irc.twit.tv, and then they stay all day to watch all the rest of our shows. Tuesday's our big day. We've got iOS Today, Mac Break Weekly, Security Now, and All About Android. Boom, 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 in rapid sequence. And I think many of these chatters will be there all day long. I hope you will join us at irc.twit.tv. On-demand versions of the show available at twit.tv/iOS or on our YouTube channel, all iOS Today, all the time. But probably the best way to get it is to get a podcast client and subscribe. Make sure you download every episode automatically the minute it's available. Just look for iOS Today in your favorite podcast client. How can people ask us questions or berate us?
I love that you ask that. You can berate us and tell us about all the apps you have or have not downloaded by going to iOS or by emailing us at iostoday@twit.tv. You can send us audio and video, or you can send us text, and we love answering your questions on the show and reading your feedback. So thank you to all of you, Paul, Tony, and Pat, for writing in this week. We appreciate it.
And this is a new part of iOS Today we're going to do from now on. I'm going to play Miss Nancy on Romper Room, and I'm going to say happy birthday to Jersey Fudge in our chat room. He is celebrating his 82nd birthday. No,
wow.
I'm just kidding. He's not. He's not. He's going to kill me. He from time to time he stops by. He lives in the Isle of Jersey off the coast of the UK, where it's freezing cold, but they have really happy cows, and they're famous for their fudge, which is why he calls himself Jersey Fudge.
We have happy cows here, too.
Yes, we do. It's like Coles to Newcastle. What we don't have is Jersey Fudge. 47 today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jersey Fudge. That concludes this episode of iOS Today. Have a wonderful Halloween. We will be back on Election Day. You've already voted, though, right? I don't want you get a day off if you haven't.
I have already sent in my ballot, and it has been counted. I've been given the confirmation.
I got my text, too. They didn't count it, but they said, we've got it. I guess we'll count it.
Yeah, I guess they said, it will be counted.
It will be counted. So you have the right to not listen to iOS Today next week, but only in one condition, that you actually go vote. If you're busy voting, that's okay. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Halloween. Stay safe. We'll see you next time on iOS Today. Bye-bye.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Tech News Weekly here on twit.tv, along with my co-host, Mikah Sargent. Each and every week, we talk to people who are making and breaking the tech news. It could be journalists writing amazing tech stories. It could be experts. It could be the sources of the stories themselves, developers, you name it. We bring them onto the show, and we talk to them about why their story is resonating with the world. You can watch and subscribe by going to twit.tv/TNW. Make sure you do that, and you won't miss a single episode. We'll see you there.